Hey all, there was a thread on Reddit that caught my attention where a guy asked an honest question about how to get good. The replies got some of the answers right, but others I think weren't super helpful. I wanted to do a video reply on this specific topic. I think for any player looking to take the next step, regardless of where you are now, the most important attribute is self-awareness and the ability to critique yourself. In a raid, it's rather easy for all 10 people to make many minor mistakes. In fact, I would say it's impossible and inevitable to have all 10 people play perfectly. And even despite all the major mistakes or minor mistakes, you can still get the kill rather easy. The margin for error in most Guild Wars 2 raid fights is large enough that it allows for imperfect play. A lot of the time, the mistakes are so minor that your teammates don't even see you make them. That's why it's important to be able to self-analyze. If you wait to improve until you screw up so badly that you get called out for it, you're not holding yourself to a high enough standard. Record your own boss fights. Rewatch them later. Notice all the times you swap weapon sets at the wrong time. Watch for times where you CC'd too slow. Watch for times where you could have been cleaving mobs, but weren't because you were poorly positioned. All the little tiny things that get you a few extra percentage points here and there, these are the things that you can make a mental note of to improve next raid night. When all 10 people in your group apply this level of self-analysis, your team will improve insanely faster, and you guys will become a really, really good unit. Again, nobody is able to microanalyze your own play besides yourself, unless you're live streaming and you like backseat gamers. You have to hold yourself accountable and can't rely on anyone else to do that. So that's the best advice for improving on a macro level. On a micro mechanical level, there are a few things that I can definitely recommend. First is get a good keyboard and gaming mouse. A mechanical keyboard will improve your play by a small but noticeable amount since you'll have greater accuracy in your keystrokes. A good mouse is far more important than even a good keyboard. The key to a good mouse is having enough buttons that you can bind all your critical skills and abilities to it. For example, as a warrior main myself, I have weapon swap, dodge, berserk mode, burst skill, and my heal skill bound to my mouse. This means my right hand can perform all of these very critical actions without affecting my play as much as if I was overtaxing my left hand to activate all of these things and control my movement. Some MMO mouses have enough buttons to bind all those, plus all your weapon skills and your utilities, and that is super helpful. It will take some time to get totally adjusted in playstyle to a mouse setup like this, and you might even get worse before you get better, but you will improve your mechanical play and reaction time in a big way. As far as actual gameplay, it is mostly about intimate class knowledge. If you are on your main, you should never ever panic press your skills. Granted, high-level players should never panic press their skills even on alts, but it's completely unacceptable on your main. If you can't do your basic PvE DPS rotation blindfolded against the Golem, you don't know your class well enough. Class knowledge benefits you most when things go poorly. If your team screws up and you take massive damage, the Ellie who instinctively swaps to water casts the Warhorn water field and then blasts it with Frozen Burst in less than 1 second without even thinking about it can save their team. The Ellie who doesn't just goes along with another wipe. Being able to play by instinct is the really big takeaway here. It speeds up your play and as a consequence slows down the encounter and makes everything seem less chaotic to you. Not having to use conscious brain power on what skills to use allows you to give your limited focus elsewhere, like positioning and the boss mechanic itself, and being able to make and respond to quick calls. The opposite of that, having to use your conscious brain power on skill use, is what contributes to tunnel visioning, and tunnel visioning is pretty much an automatic fail when you're trying to play well in a chaotic encounter. Lastly, encounter-specific knowledge and experience. This is, of course, the easiest thing to develop and comes with practice and repetition. The best way to speed it up is by soloing. Obviously, that's not applicable in raiding, but Dungeons and Fractals, many or most of the encounters can be soloed with enough dedication and practice. And you will learn a lot about the encounter and also about your class, and it will improve your personal skill. So I highly recommend taking the time to learn to solo in dungeons, solo in fractals, and get much better faster that way. So that's my advice on the best ways to improve as a player in Guild Wars 2 PvE. Be motivated, have a mindset open to self-criticism, and practice, and you will improve significantly. And that goes for anybody, even veterans to newbies. If you guys have any questions, please hit up in the comments. If you have any tips that you'd like to share for other people, feel free to leave those in the comments as well. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.